Hey there, how's it going? Welcome to Looplearnings. This is video number 9, and we are making school management system. And if you are first time to my channel, welcome to Looplearnings. And if you are returning, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to make Unbound Form and how to transfer the data from form to the respective table using Recordsets. But before I begin, I would like to say that if you haven't subscribed to my channel, make sure that you do and hit the bell icon so you get notification whenever I upload a new video. I would also request you to join my channel by clicking on the join button. And why I say that? Because you get the exclusive videos made only for the members, which I'm going to start near in the future. So hit the join and join my channel and membership, and it would be much appreciated. Now let's move back to Microsoft Access and let's talk about today's topic. So because I have already demonstrated in previous couple of videos how to make form, how to bring the controls onto the form, and how to make the formatting, that's why I thought to pre-prepare the form and then I'll just demonstrate how to actually proceed and do the VBA coding. If you want to learn about how to make this form similar that you're looking at, how to do the formatting, I would strongly recommend that you watch the previous 3-4 videos of this series. Now let's move on, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of disable the controls. Disable mean making them non-editable. So employee ID, status updated on. We don't want any manual entry in these 3 controls, so we'll make them non-editable. That's the first thing I do. So right click on that, design view, and I select the controls that I want to make them non-editable, and I go to the properties of this form. So property sheet, data tab, and under the data tab I enabled, turn that off to no, and locked, yes. I also would like to change the background color, so I click on the format in the ribbon and I change the color. Either I can do it from here or I can do it from here. It doesn't matter, it works in both way. Okay, now this is the indication that these controls are non-editable, so this is always good from the user experience point of view. Right, now next thing I would like to do is I would like to convert this employee type text box into combo box. And you may ask why. That's a good question. Because I want to link this combo box then with the employee type table that we have. If I double click here, this is the table, and so in that combo box, in that drop down, what I would like to see is these values, this information only. That's why we need to convert the text box into the combo box, and doing that is very easy. I just right click on the text box, I go to the drop down menu. It's not drop down, it's a menu. I click on, I just hover my mouse to change to and convert that to combo box. There you go. Now we are going to link this combo box. At the moment it is unbound, it is not linked with any information. We need to provide some sort of row source to link this combo box to employee type table. And to do that, I will simply go to the property sheet of the combo box. We'll go to the row source, click on that and click on dot dot dot, and we'll be presented with Query Designer. And in Query Designer, I'll simply drag and drop the employee type, double click, and just to see the data coming nicely. So it is. We can see there are 2 columns in this query. So column 1, which is considered as column 0 in this case, consists of ID, and the column 2, which is considered as column 1 in this scenario, consists of the employee type. So we need to remember that. Why? I'll tell you in a minute. So I came out of the Qt Designer. Now I go to the property sheet again, right click, go to the properties, and we'll go to the format, and here we will provide column count to 2 and column widths to 0 colon 1. What this would do, if we will not do this, for example, if we leave it like 1 as it was, then what will happen is that this combo box will not show the information that is required to be displayed. So that's why we have to do this property change. Okay, now we are done with that. Next step is, of course, we are going to put some VBA code behind these 3 buttons. So add new, update, and delete. Although delete is not preferred, I will explain later in this video. Now what I would like to do is I would like to check whether each of these controls are filled in with the information or not. If I will see on this form, almost every control is required information except remarks. So remarks, we can keep it as optional, but if you look at the other information, they are kind of mandatory information. Therefore, what we have to do is we have to put a logic behind this button. So whenever user click on add new, it should check whether these controls have information or not. If not, then throw an exception, throw an error. Otherwise, move on. Okay, to do that, I'll simply click on add new. I'll go to the property sheet of this button. I'll go to the event tab. I'll go to the click on ... and here we are in the VB editor. Now there is already a little bit of code, which is the error handling, which I pre-prepared again. Now what I would like to do is I would like to start from this point onwards and keep checking whether each and every control is filled in with the required information or not. So please watch, pay attention, and if you're learning something, it would be great to hit the subscribe button. Right now, let's move on and let's type in our first line of code. So we'll say if nz is basically checks the 0 value or null value, I believe, and then it throw an exception if that's the case. So first thing we would like to check is employee name. Right, so we'll say employee name dot value equals double quote double quote. Double quote represents whether the control is empty. Right, double quote means empty. So if that's the case, then throw an exception. So do cmd.beep message box, please provide the name of the employee. Okay, so we be critical because it's an error, and the header of the error box, message box, will say information. To improve the user experience, we will also set the focus. So we'll say me dot employee name dot set focus. Okay, now if you are learning, I will repeat, if you're learning, then you have to write each line of code, to not do copy and paste. But if you know already, then like I know a little bit, so instead of just typing it over and over again, what I will do, I will simply copy this line of code, this block of code, and I will paste in here, and I'll say else if. Okay, and then I'll tweak it a little bit based on my requirement for the next control. Again, I will repeat, if you're learning, do not do the copy paste. Okay, otherwise you will not learn, trust me on that. Okay, next one is employee number. So similar to this, as I said, we need to do a little bit of tweaking, and this is the tweaking I was referring to. Please provide the employee number of the employee. Now you can make, this employee number field as automated. It generates automatically employee number. You can do that as well, and that's not difficult. If you're interested in learning that, let me know in the comments below. I may make another video based on that. Okay, so that's done. So we'll copy that, paste in here. Next we'll check the employee type, and this should not be empty as well. So I've already checked, so please, here we go, we'll just tweak it a little bit, that's it, and we copy and we paste. And designation, and we say designation, we set the control here, and we say please provide the designation of the employee. That's it. We copy this and we paste in here. We say date of birth, that is also an important information. So we'll say please provide the date of birth of the employee. Simple as that. We'll copy that, move on, and we paste in here. Now remarks, not really mandatory, so I will not make it as required field. What I'll do, I'll just move on to the next control, which is gender. Okay, but if you want to keep remarks as mandatory, for sure, go ahead and do that. Okay, but I'll move on. I'll say gender. Okay, please provide the gender of the employee, and then I'll copy and paste, and I'll say father name. Okay, father name, please provide the father name of the employee. You have to do this little bit of tweaking, and other than that, I think you can. Next one is city. You can feel that the process of validation is kind of, speedy. Please provide the city name of the employee, and then move on. And next one is town. So you keep repeating the same over and over again. But as I said, if you are learning, do not follow this practice. Okay, otherwise you will not. Yes, it is a very quick. It seems to be shortcut, but trust me, if you'll take shortcut instead of learning, then rest assured you will not learn for sure. Okay, now we are done with writing the line of code to validate the information in these controls. And then next, what we'll do, we'll say else. If all of it, whatever we have written, is false, then move on and create a record. Now, to transfer the information, because this is unbound form, if it is bound form, we don't have to do anything else except we'll say do cmd.save, beep, and message box, and that's it, job done. But because this is unbound form, we will have to do something in terms of VB coding to transfer the information from this form to the table that we have. Okay, this table. Now, to do that, we will use Recordsets, and I'm sure you have been learning about Recordsets in my previous tutorials. If not, then I would strongly recommend that you watch the previous videos. And if you are learning how about hitting the smash button, hitting the subscribe button and the bell icon, so you get notification whenever I upload a new video. Okay, now let's move on and let's use our record set, because we want to transfer the information from here onto the table. Okay, now to use record set, we have to declare the variable. So we'll say dim, and we'll say rs add as a record set. Okay, so we have set the name rs add, and now Access is shouting back at us and asking, okay, what do you want me to do with that rs add? So now we'll say set rs add equals current DB dot open record set, parenthesis open, parenthesis close. And what record set we want this to open? Of course, the employees team. That's the record set, because this is where the information will go and get stored, right? Now, Access has opened the record set. Now Access is asking, what do you want me to do with this? Well, we'll tell you, Mr. Miss Access, just wait. And what we want to do is pass the information, whatever is written in these controls by user, and take it to the respective table. Now, how do we do that? Well, it's very simple. rs_add dot add new. Okay. Now, what we have to do is one by one, we have to give the reference of the control onto the form with the respective field in the table. And you will see that. So first one is employee name. So we'll say rs_add exclamation mark employee name equals to me dot employee name. Okay. So what this will do, this little line of code is will take the information, whatever is written by the user in this form or in this control of the form, and will store it in this field. Now this table I have opened it in design mode because I want to just copy the names of the controls. That's why. Now again, if you're learning, I would strongly recommend that you write each letter of the code with your hands so you memorize it. Okay, what I'm going to do is copy and paste. Okay, all right, because I'm demonstrating and I know a little bit, so that's why for me it's easy to do copy and paste. But when I was learning, I did not use copy and paste. I've written each letter of the code by myself, so that's why I memorize a little bit. Okay, again, I'm not an expert, but I'm just demonstrating what I know. That's it. Okay, employee number, and we'll say employee number. So it's easy, you know. We'll copy the each control and we'll say equals to, so let's say me dot employee type. Yeah, because the control names onto the form are exactly the same as the field names in the table. That's how you should design. For me, it has always been an easy and great practice to do. So, you know, some people like they write txt designation. That's okay. Everyone has preference, and I have mine. I will keep the control name similar to what is the field name. So for me, it's always easy to refer to the controls and to the table and database and fields into the table. Yep. Okay. Next one is designation and DOB. All right, DOB, gender. There we go. Gender. There's one thing I need to do, which I will do now, which is the employee type. Now, if we will see, this is the control. This refers to the control onto the form, right? Employee type. And if we will see employee type, if we will remember, equal we given the row source to the employee type, and one of the column contains the ID of the row source, which is column number 0. So in here we'll say column 0. Okay, so whatever in the column 0 of the employee type combo box, store that information onto the employee type. If you will just leave it employee type, it might take the text and try to store it in the table, and you will get an exception because employee type field in the table is what number, it's not a string. So that's why you will get an exception, you will get an error. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Right, we were here until father name. Next one is city, and we repeat that when we keep doing it. Town, Next one is address. Okay, we'll copy this and we'll paste a couple of more times because we have a bit more information. So remarks, here we go, status, okay, and updated on. That's it. Okay, there you go. That's what we need to provide. Now we'll just say, all right, access. Now you have taken the information from the form and now you have added it into our table. Make sure that you save that. So what we will do, we'll say rs_add dot update. Okay, that's it. That's what we'll do. Now next, once the information is updated, we want to close the record set because record set is open, right? We have said here open record set. We have to close that. Do not let it open, right? Keep it open. So rs_add dot close. Simple as that. Now we'll throw a message box to give a confirmation to user that yes, the information has been transferred to the table, and we'll say toSingMD.beep message box. The information is no, no. The employee, and we'll give a name of employee in the message box. Okay, and this is how you do. All right, me.employee name has been created in the database. All right, and we give comma and we say because it's a success, so we be information, and the title would be information as well. Okay, next is after this, what I would like to do is I would like to refresh this list box and say the information is created, and I would like to populate that information onto this list box, and therefore we'll say me.list.requery. Simple as that. Now after that, what I would like to do is I would like to empty these controls, so the user is ready to add a new record if user have to do so. So that's why it's best practice to kind of empty these records. And to do that, what I will do is again I'll go one by one these controls and I will make them empty with the double quotes. So I'll say me.employee name dot value equals double quote. Okay, likewise I will repeat. All right, now to save my time and yours time, again, if you're learning, please write by yourself. Do not do copy and paste. Okay, that's the advice I can give you, a suggestion or recommendation. And then I go simply here and I repeat the exact same thing that I repeated before. Okay, so I just copy and paste, and this will kind of work. Not kind of, it will definitely work. Okay, so father name, city, town. Again, if you're learning, do not do this. Make sure that you write each and every letter of the code. Okay, right. Okay, there we go. Now with these line of codes, what will happen is that these controls will be null. It will clear out, and so user will be ready to add a new information onto the form and in the record set. Now I think we are done with this particular okay, let's compile it, save it. So we're done writing code behind the save button. All right, now next thing I would like to do is I would like to do the same, well, not actually same, but kind of similar behind the update button. So if the information is updated, if the information is required to be updated in any one of these fields, then it should be updated in the table as well. Now to do that, what I need a unique ID of a record which is stored in the table. And what is a unique ID? It's always the employee ID. That's the unique ID. Okay. And to do that, I will go to the update button. I'll go to the event tab, dot, dot, dot. And in here we have empty code block, which is actually the error handling code block. And in here, I will say if nz me dot employee id dot value equals double quote, then do cmd dot beep message box, please choose record to make the modification, right? That's very, very important. Okay, we be critical because this is an error, and the header of the error message box would be information. Now, next up, what we would like to do is, if that's false, if that means user has selected a record, then move on and do the update process. And to do that, we will open the record set. And to open the record set, to make the changes, we will use the record set. And to use record set, what do we need to do? Yes, you're right. We need to declare the variable. So we'll say dim rs update as a record set. Okay. Now we'll set the rs update equals not me equals current db dot open record set parenthesis open parenthesis close, and in here in double quotes we'll give the name of the table. Okay, and we'll say comma db open dyna set. Now this is very important if you are modifying the record. Okay, so make sure that you do that. Now a table or a record set might have like several records, right? Maybe hundreds or thousands of lines or rows. We need to find the record with the ID which is open. So that's why we are referring to this employee ID. Okay, now to do that, we will simply write a single line of code and we'll say rs update dot find first. Okay, find first, that's what we are giving instruction. And now we have to provide what we want it to find. So employee ID and emphasize me dot employee ID dot value. Okay, so basically what it's saying that please go ahead and check this employee ID, whatever is written here in the record set. Maybe you have 1,000 or 100,000 lines or rows, so check the ID equals to this, and after that you go ahead and make updates related to those IDs. Okay, I hope you understood. Now to do those updates, we will start with rs update dot edit because we are editing record. Okay, now in here, rather than I type all over again, what I like to do, and again, if you're learning, please do not follow this, whatever I'm going to do in next few minutes. What I would like you to do, follow this, but write each letter of the code. Okay, I'll keep saying it because this is very important. I'm doing this copy and paste, you don't have to do, because if you're learning. Okay, so I'll simply copy all of this. Okay, and I'll go to the here this is where we were writing our code, and I'll paste in here. In here I will replace the rs add to rs update, because add refers to the records for adding the record. Okay, so we want to update the record, but except this, everything else will remain same. Okay, that's why I do this. Okay, and now rs update dot update. There we go. Now we will close this record set, rs update dot close. Okay, now we will throw a message box to the user and saying that the record has been updated. So do cmd dot beep message box, the record has been updated successfully. Okay, this will be VB information, not critical, because it's a success. All right, now after this, remember what we did when we added the record? We have to requery this list box. So we'll say me.list.requery. Okay, now after that, remember what we did when we added the record? We clear out all these controls, and hence we used these line of code. So I'm going to copy everything rather than typing all over again, and I'm going to paste in here. But I'm going to add one more line in here because we have employee ID now. So here we go. That's it. That is done, hopefully. Okay, compile it, no error, great. Now let's move on, and next button. Now this is delete. I'm not for deleting the record, particularly this kind of record like employees, maybe an okay, so technically an employee is left the organization or this school or college or academy, and hence their record has to be made inactive, so no classes or no subjects can be assigned to them. That's great, that makes sense. So rather than deleting the record, we make them inactive. Okay, so here we go. I will say mark inactive, right? There we go. That's it. Now, if I'll click here, I want to change the name also. Rather than delete, I want to change it to inactive. But before I do that, I'll go to the dot dot dot, and I will copy and control X. I will copy this code, and this will be deleted. Why I did that? Because you would need to keep it clean. So here I'll say btn inactive. I'll go to the event tab, on click event dot 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 code builder, and in here I'll paste the same which I did the control X from. Now what I would like to do is the same logic. First, we will check whether the record has been selected or not. If yes, then we will go ahead and mark that record as inactive. But before we mark that inactive, we need confirmation from the user. So basically, a pop-up message should appear and should ask the user, hey, you are about to mark this employee as inactive. Are you sure to do that? And then if user say, yeah, I'm sure, then mark that inactive. Okay, that's the logic we are going to follow. Now it is much more similar to update record, and later on I'll explain you what do I mean by that. Now if I will go to update record, this is create, and if I will go to the button that is update, and if we will say, if we will take this code, because this is same, this is what we need in here. Okay, where it is. All right, update, and here we go, inactive. All right, so rather than typing all over again, I thought of copy and pasting. And again, if you're learning, do not do the copy and paste. Okay, that's very, very important. Now that is done. After that, as I said, I want to throw a message box, and I would like to get confirmation from the user whether user would like to mark the employee as inactive or not. So to throw a message box with yes or no options, what we'll do, we will declare a variable. So we'll say dim response as integer. Okay, now in here we'll say do cmd.beep, and we'll say response equals message box, and we'll say, are you sure to mark this employee as inactive? Question mark. Okay, VB question plus VB yes no. Okay, and comma, the title would be choose an option. This would be the title of the message box, close parenthesis. Now what we'll do, we'll say if response equals VB yes then, which means if the response, if the user have chosen from the message box yes, then what should be done? Well, then mark it is as inactive. So first, to mark the inactive, we will change the status to inactive, update it on. So that means we'll update here. So me.status.value equals inactive, and me.updatedOn.value equals format now, comma, double quote, date, month, year. Okay, all right, close parenthesis. And then because this is unbound form, we have to kind of repeat what we did behind update button, which means we have to write all those line of codes. We have to requery this list. We have to clear out this. Are you getting my point? This is too much of work, right? So rather than I go ahead and type the duplication of code, I literally use a shortcut again. And that shortcut is basically I call this action. So I call btn update underscore click action. So that literally what it does, it goes and perform the update action, and it does what it's supposed to, right? So I don't know whether it is right or wrong, but this is how I do it, and it seems to work. So in here I'll say call, this is how you call btn update underscore click. That's it. Now with this, what happened is basically if we will say, so for example, btn update underscore click, right? Now this Microsoft Access will search where it is btn update underscore click, and literally Microsoft Access will search in our code. So this is btn update underscore click, and whatever in there, the Microsoft Access will perform the same action. Simple as that. And this is what we need. We want to update the record. So what it will do, it will update the information into the record set, which means in the table. It will refresh the list box, it will refresh the query, and it will refresh the it will clear out the controls onto the forms as well. So our job will be done. That's why I call btn update underscore click. That's it. Is there anything else we need to do? Well, as of now, yeah, block if without end if. So there are two if conditions, I'm sure I mentioned. Yeah. So here, now this is basically the response if the user, this is what it will do if user will click on yes. What if user click on no? And in that case, else do nothing. Simple as that. And this code block. Now if we debug, it should not throw an error, and it didn't. So it all is working well at the moment. Now that is done. Now one more thing before we go ahead and test. This, you see, this took longer, right? Longer than expected, and that's how it is generally. These things take time, and recording make time, making video make time, and that's why I'm asking, if you like whatever you are looking at, if you like whatever you have watched until now, Make sure that you subscribe, hit the bell icon so you get notification, and join my channel. Support me and my channel by joining it. Okay. Anyway, move on. Let's move on. And last thing we need to do is the list box. We need to populate the record in here, right? At the moment, there's nothing displayed because we haven't done any coding behind, haven't given any instruction to it, which means we have to go to employees table and we need to look at what information we should be populating onto the list box. Technically, because this is unbound form, and technically we will have everything in the list box, but we will hide the information which we don't want to display onto the list box. Now, how do we do that? Simple. We will simply go in, we'll select the form, we'll go to the onload event dot dot dot, and here we are. Here we will provide the line of code which will fetch the information from the table and it will display onto the form, onto the forms list box. So let's start. So first one is employee ID. So basically you'll say select what? Now select statement is SQL statement. So select employee ID, employee name. Literally you have to type in everything. Okay. Employee type, designation, DOB, gender, father name, city, town, address, remarks, status, updated on. That's it. Now, because this is unbound form, that's why we have to get everything. But if it is not unbound form, we might get the information that we just need, and then we double click on that and it populates the information. That is easy as well. There is another way we can use Recordset to populate everything else. That makes a bit more lengthy process, so I like to do this instead of that. So now we have asked the Microsoft Access to get this information from where? From this table, employees T. Okay. Now our select statement is completed. Now what we need to do is we need to provide the number of columns, and for sure we have to count one by one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and if we will see 13 and updated on is 14. So 14 column count. Now in here we would like to give a width of the columns, and those columns we don't want to see, we will make them as 0. We don't want to see, but the ones that we want to see onto our list box, we have to give a width to those columns. So let's say employee ID is important, but we don't want to show it on the list box. So what we'll do, we'll hide it by typing in 0 centimeter. Employee name, yes, we want to show, and let's keep it as 4 centimeters. Employee number, let's keep it as 2 centimeters. We want to show. Employee type, we do need it, but we don't want to show it onto the list box, so we'll make it 0 centimeter. Next one is designation. Yeah, probably we will show, so let's say 3 centimeters. Next one is date of birth. We don't want to show, so 0 centimeter. Next one is gender. Well, we don't want to show it on the list box, so we'll keep it as 0 centimeter. Father name, also we don't want to show it on the list box. Oh, this is 0, not O. I often make this mistake. Next one is city. Probably if you want to show, you can. Let's show 3 centimeter. We have enough space. And town we don't want to show, so we'll keep it as 0 centimeters. Address we don't want to show, so we'll keep it 0 centimeters. Again, it's not O, it's a 0. Remarks we don't want to show, so we'll keep it 0 centimeters. Status we do want to show, so we'll keep it as 2 centimeters. And updated on we don't want to show, so we'll keep it as 0 centimeter. Let me count this again. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yep, that is correct. Now one more thing before we go ahead and test. And that is, now we have brought this information onto the list box. How do I know? We can simply go and see the form view, right? You can see it here. You can see the headings. You can see that this information will be displayed when added. Now, what else we want to do? Well, I want to double click in here and I want to get the information and populate it onto our form in the controls. Now, the reason we have added everything like all of this is because we want to keep that information in the list box, and whenever we double click, we want to get this information and populate onto the controls. That's why we did that, and that's why we will do the double click event. And in here, what we'll do, we'll say again, I would go to my design view. Okay, we'll say me dot employee ID dot value equals me dot list dot column 0. Now we have to call the column numbers where the information is stored. Remember, 14 columns, and these are the columns. Okay, this is where we are going to refer now. So instead of typing me again, I'll just paste. Okay, now how many columns are here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, 14 columns. And in here I will give them the numbering, so later on I come and I actually ask whatever it's supposed to do. So 10, 11, 12 and 13. There we go. Now I can go to my table and I can kind of repeat the same thing. Okay, employee number, employee type, designation, DOB, okay, gender, father name, city, town, address, remarks, status, and last is updated on. There we go. That's it. Now we'll kind of give a response with the beep, so user would know something has happened. Okay, that's important. That's it. I think we are done. Thank God, it's a very long video, by the way. If you're still watching, kudos to you. All right, let's test it out whether this works or not. First, we'll click on each button and it should throw an error. There we go. There we go. There we go. Great. So this part is working. Great. Now let's go ahead and provide the information. So we'll say my name. So employee number, we can say 10001 or 2, whatever. Employee type, we can say management. Designation, we can say supervisor, something. And the date of birth, we can say 1980. Okay, remarks we don't want to keep. Gender male, father name, my father name, something like that. My city, my town, dummy information for sure, my address. Okay, now we have provided information. If our code is correct, two things should happen. One is that this data should be saved in the table, and this list box should be populated with the information, and these controls should be cleared out if everything goes well. Let's click on add new and hope for the best. And first part, it works. The employee my name has been created in the database, and let's click on OK, and everything seems to work, except I don't have the status. Why? Okay, I might have missed it. Let's see. There we go. And if we'll say, oh, me.status. Oh, okay. So me.status.value active. Of course, I'm referring to status, but I'm not giving what is status equals to. That's why. Okay. Now let's probably I will go to the employees table. You can see the table is updated, and in here, because this was my mistake, oh, updated on also is not updated. Okay, I have to go in updated on. I have to add that, because in here I'm saying me equals to me dot updated on, but I'm not, like we did for the active. We'll say updated on dot value equals format now, comma, and double quote date, month, year. Okay, right, that's it. I think it should work now. So let's go ahead and create a new employee. What do you think? Right? Okay, let's go ahead and so right now it is all okay. Now let's go ahead and create another employee, so we know that this status and updated on is working. So to do that, we'll say my new name, and employee ID will say is 10002. Employee type, let's say faculty or faculty. How do you call it? Faculty. I call it generally. Designation, let's say teacher or instructor. Date of birth, let's say 1998, something like that. Gender male. Father name, my father name. Okay. My city, we'll keep that same. My town, my address. All right, let's click on add new, and boom, it is created, right? My new name, and now we have the information in here. Let's test the what do you call the update information. So let's say instead of 1998, let's say the date of birth is the year of birth is 1999. So we update that information, and let's see if it is updated. It is updated. Okay, this seems to work. Now let's make this employee as inactive. So remember what I said, if I click here, we should get a message box for confirmation, yes or no. And that's what we are getting. Choose an option. Are you sure to mark this employee as inactive? And if I say no, nothing will happen. But if I click again, and if I do the yes, then the record has been updated, and you can see that the inactive employee has been marked as inactive. That's it. That's what I wanted to demonstrate. Sorry, it is a bit longer, but I think the information was required. For me, it would have been easy, just make it, speed it up, but whatever I do, I like to do it in a proper way, and I hope that I have done my job here in terms of explanation. If you still have any question or query, please do ask in the comments below. If you're still watching, that is awesome, right? Thank you very much for watching until now, and smash the like button if you have liked whatever you have seen. Subscribe to the channel if you have not yet subscribed, and hit the bell icon so you get notification whenever I upload a video. And last but not the least, join my channel as a member for exclusive content and support me as well, and channel also. Thank you very much, and I will see you in the next one.